Let's turn now to Bill Bennett of ENCO Systems. He's actually out on the road in Pittsburgh today as part of a traveling exhibit of broadcast technology. It's called the Next Best Thing Media Tour. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Paul, thank you very much.
You're telling radio stations about WebDAD mobile automation for radio. Given the COVID situation, what do we need to know about its ability to work remotely?
Well, Paul, so WebDAD is a product that we've developed to control our DAD system. People are familiar with the award-winning DAD interface. What WebDAD is it takes that interface and that control and builds it into a web browser-based application, HTML5 compliant, which means you can control your DAD system from a laptop, from Google Chrome, and from a Macintosh or a Linux machine. And you can do it over great distances and remote connections over, like VPN over the public internet.
So just to clarify, what platform or platforms does it run on?
So the cool thing about WebDAD is it's the interface to control DAD. So you've got DAD running on Windows, as everyone is used to, and then WebDAD is platform agnostic. It just needs an HTML5-based web browser to run in.
So given the current situation and how workflows have changed even this year, what features of WebDAD are most relevant that you're telling people about?
So most of the features that WebDAD has are what is already in the DAD interface. People are used to that, so we brought that to the web browser environment. Of course, voice tracking, editing hints and tails, maintenance of your playlist, and controlling and building out arrays that people are used to. You could do all of that within the WebDAD environment.
And you're also telling people about DADD-DR, and I have to confess I don't know much about that. So what is DADD-DR and what is it in relation to WebDAD?
So WebDAD is, again, a product or an interface to control DAD, where DADD-DR is a bigger concept that we've been developing, and that is disaster recovery. And basically, it's talking about the cloud and using that for your automated playout should you have an emergency or need to vacate your studios for some reason, whether planned or unplanned. Everything that you've got running in your studios on DAD can be continuously backed up, playlists, music, recordings, everything, to our DADD-DR platform, which we have running in the cloud. So it gives you a lot of resiliency there.
And what kind of features are relevant here for disaster recovery and cloud-based operation? I imagine that for a lot of people, these are still relatively new concepts. So what do they need to take away from it?
Yeah, so one of the several important factors, what we've designed it to do is to continuously run, if the customer wants that, as a copy of what's going on the air in their main studios. So it's not just making backups of the content that's on the air, but it's keeping live awareness to what is on the air. So if their studios had an instant power failure or even a connection to their transmitter was lost, the DADD-DR environment would be still live and playing out concurrently with that. And therefore needs an IP connection back to their transmitter, of course, to get the signal from the cloud to their tower. So,
any special considerations around security there?
A lot of security, and we've been thinking about that and architecting it, certainly restricting the MAC addresses and certain LAN addressing requirements are necessary. Also using a VPN for control. And we don't actually have, it's not acting as a file-based backup system. It's only copying the content, not the entire operating system. So if your system back at the studio gets infected with a virus, that is not making it over to the DADD-DR environment. Only the content is. So there are a few layers of protection there.
And from a mechanics standpoint, just so that I'm clear, what is a way that failover might be detected or acted upon?
Because it's running in the cloud and therefore very native in an IP environment, we do require a way to get back to the transmitter, and that's typically by IP. And a lot of more modern transmitter technologies have the ability to look for a loss of signal in the primary or STL link and can automatically therefore fail over to like an IP connection. Nautel, for once, has one company that has that. So the transmitter could have its own logic that if it loses its primary signal, switch to the IP connection automatically, and that can be coming from DADD-DR in the cloud instantly.
I know information's at your website at enco.com, and I want to ask just briefly about the Next Best Thing Media Tour. It has stops coming up in North Carolina, Indiana, Ohio, a bunch more states through the end of November. What is it exactly?
This is a really cool concept. It's called the next best thing. And it's like, well, we can't have NAB, right? So this is the next best thing, and it comes to your door. These are outdoor tents with exhibitor booths all around that set up in parking lots or on grassy areas in different cities around the country. And it's where broadcast engineers can get out of their house and stretch their legs and talk at safe distances. Everyone around me is wearing masks right now. And still have an environment where they can look at the new technology that's coming out and talk to manufacturers and have the next best experience to NAB itself.
And if someone wants to find out if you're going to be in their town, Bill, how would they contact you to get the schedule?
It's real easy. It's bill@enco.com.
Well, Bill, Bennett, thank you. And to your cameraman, Shane Finch, we appreciate you being with us today.
Paul, our pleasure. We appreciate the visit.